All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I received a very good question from one of my dearest friends and neighbors here. As far as what we are doing in our Bais Medrash vis-a-vis starting minyanim. So, Governor Cuomo has announced that the recommendation of the governor's office will now permit religious gatherings that are up to 10 people, which means we'll be able to have a minyan of 10. Now, some of the major Orthodox organizations, such as the OU and the RCA and the Aguda, of which our Bais Medrash is independent, we don't belong to any of these, but they have made recommendations that whatever the government allows, we should do less. Problem is, so meaning, what was said was that, for example, if it was going to be 30 people be allowed, we should be machmir and only allow 16, 15, 16. Now the thing is, they're allowing 10 is a minyan. So I'm pretty sure that all the shuls are going to allow 10, because otherwise it's not a minyan. With that being said, so now the question is how we're going to operate the minyanim. And again, the recommendation of these various organizations has been to make the minyanim as quickly as possible, starting from Baruch Hu, which I would believe means you start from Yishtabach and say the Chatzi Kaddish and then the Baruch Hu. They didn't mention whether or not to make a Chikadusha, but we might be doing that just to make it quicker, to limit the amount of time we're in the Bais Medrash, no speeches, of course, and so forth. And then they also made recommendations that the Balkari should be the one who has psicha, haitzov, achnosa, and also the Balkari should make hagba on his own, perhaps keminhag Asfardim and keminhag Yushalayim, to make it before the laning, or to make hagba sort of like how the Lubavitchers make, but essentially to make the Galila on the shulchan, on the bima, as opposed to being a two-person job. Where others have said it could be a two-person job, theoretically, as long as it's always the same person. Or perhaps if the second person is part of the household of the Balkari. The question, though, is how are we going to operate as far as to Ostai and Elias? Excuse me. So, the recommendation that was brought up by the OU, RCA, and the Aguda is that the Balkari himself can take all the Aliyahs, just like a Kohen could have two Aliyahs, one after the other. So the Balkari should take all the Aliyahs. The other option was that if there are several people who live in the same household, even though we generally don't give a father and a son one after other, or brothers one after other, mishum eva, but there would be no eva, there would be no upset. People would not be upset because they understand there's a reason why it's being operated like this. Which, although there might be eva because people don't understand why, and maybe they're right, but sof kol sof, this has been the recommendation of the Rabbonim how to handle this. In any event, so now the question is, what's next? How are we going to handle the shul? So there's another opinion, though, which was approved by Rav Moshe Sternbach, who's the Ravad of Yerushalayim, and Rav Sternbach Shlita, who I was zeicha to see on a number of occasions in Yerushalayim years ago. He said that it was permissible based on the idea of Shomea Ka'ona, that someone who is listening is the same as someone who is answering. And so therefore, we're permitting that wherever a person is standing or sitting and so forth, from there they can make the brachos on the aliyah. So then, therefore, based on the idea of Shomea Ka'ona. So, and our Rav, Rabbi Fishbein Shlita, said he preferred this view of Rav Sternbach Shlita because his Rosh Hashiva, his Rosh Hashiva, Rav Gustman Zechron Levrocha, held that Shomea Ka'ona is a Zaya Harber Zach, that we should take Shomea Ka'ona so seriously, to the point where if you're listening to something, when you're not allowed to be mafsik, you're not allowed to interrupt, that it would be considered a hefsik, it would be considered interruption, even b'ter Shomea Ka'ona. Meaning, let's say you're listening to Shmoneh Esrei, right? You're listening to Chazoras Hashatz, and you're not allowed to interrupt during davening Shmoneh Esrei. That talking during Chazoras Hashatz is considered a hefsek in the Shomea Ka'ona. So for this reason, he felt that Shomea Ka'ona is such a strong din, and Rabbi Fishbein Shlita said that Badal Chaim Tovim said that he prefers this based on that understanding of his Rosh Hashiva, Rav Gustman Zechron Levrocha. Now the question is, as our good friend here asked us, how does that work as far as when it comes to when we lane the original way that Kriyas HaTorah was done in ancient times, and in some Sephardic shuls? What happened?